So last episode, we sold all of our iridium bars and finally made enough money to go buy our starfruit and our deluxe speed grow. So we're going to go blow through pretty much all that money in one go. And this is our final strawberry harvest of the season. So we don't have to worry about crops at all anymore, aside from some parsnips a little bit later on. We're going to finally actually turn in the ectoplasm that we've been talking about for 3 days now. And then it's another gift day, and we're going to buy, like I said, all 1,000 DSG, Deluxe Speed Grow, 906 Starfruit, and actually 906 parsnips as well. And then we'll begin setting up our actual sprinkler layout and upgrade our iridium pick. So all that stuff together is going to completely deplete the 500,000 we have right now. And that's generally a good thing to kind of sit at a zero balance. We'll have a little bit left over, but like nothing major. And so yeah, I think this is like, there's not a ton of people to gift necessarily. I mean, there's a good chunk, but it's not everybody. And that'll take up most of the day, I would say, aside from some clearing and, well, I guess the layout stuff will take up any time left over, and then tomorrow we'll actually have to, it could take, I guess, pretty much the whole day if our luck is bad, and get all of the parsnips planted. And I'll explain more about that later on. If you've watched a previous min-max run I've done, this is a pretty common tactic I use from a lot of min-maxers use. It's not my tactic, but it's basically just a way of saving yourself from having to till a bunch on the first of summer. So that's what we're looking to do. We've had a crazy day at the house today. We had like a pipe leaking in the bedroom, so we had to cut the ceiling open there. And the plumber who came by to actually fix it, because it's like specialized galvanized pipe, cut through the wrong pipe, which was like the water for all of the radiant heat in the house. And so that leaked everywhere. And it's just been a whole ordeal, so I'm just now kind of taking care of some Stardew stuff to sort of relax a little bit, I guess. And then they're doing construction outside again, so whatever. We're also getting that deluxe barn. I forgot to mention that. But that's where like the extra 25,000 gold we had is going. And that will allow us to get a pig in the next couple of days and get that truffle taken care of. And the sooner we can do that, the better. Otherwise, I forget. I think we need like 2 or 3 truffles, maybe 3. 1 to ship, 1 to sell, and 1 to turn into truffle oil. Maybe 4, because we have to sell a truffle oil and use 1 for a quest. Maybe 5, geez, now that I think about it. Because we'll need it for a lot of crafting, or 1 crafting thing in particular. So 5 total truffles, I think. So the earlier you can get your pig, the better. And then we have a little extra money also for coal. Coal, it's always a problem, but right now it's even bigger of a problem, just like wood will be. Like I'm going to end up spending around 650,000 gold on wood and probably like 1 million on coal just to actually like make the money I need, which is fine, and I knew that would be the case. Maybe not 1 million, maybe it'll be like 600 for both. But it's still kind of a lot of money. And then there's a lot of money I didn't originally factor in. So I'm going to have to probably do a little bit better when it comes to Skull Caverns runs. And here's those 906 parsnips. And we'll get to those tomorrow. I don't think we're going to have time today. There's a little bit too much running around and all that good stuff. We did finally get the tea cutscene. And so we can start creating our own tea bushes and actually making tea and like selling the tea leaves and stuff. It's not really that important. It's mostly just because you need it for perfection. And yeah, just gifts. Lots of gifts, lots of talking. I'm very close to being through with, I think, Leah now too. Some of these people at the bottom will stay at the bottom, but they'll get caught up. There's no worries there. I'm trying to think of what else we really have to do. I mean, spring is getting pretty close to the end. We still have, I think, one more episode will be in the spring before we get into all the summer fun, which is a little bit stressful because anything that is missed is now going to be missed. It's just the way it is. But things like rhubarb and things like garlic, we don't need them yet. We can grow them in the greenhouse later, so those aren't really a big deal. And like crops in general don't really matter. The only real thing in spring was the morel mushroom, and we have all those. And so I think we're in good shape. And we got the legend pretty early on. And so since we have that, yeah, legend, well, even legend you can get with magic bait. It's just really rare. And we're also getting a magic rock candy because it's Thursday. Probably one of the more important things that we do on Thursdays. Like DSG, like you basically, like for me at least, every Thursday you have to go to the desert, whether it's to restock on Deluxe Speed Grow or at least get a rare, or not rare candy. Been playing too much Pokemon. Rock candy. So yeah. Oh yeah, Clint is almost done. Evelyn's almost done. Willie. I don't know. I'm happy with everything so far. And we have enough starfruit for the first batch, which won't be done until like the 9th or 10th of summer. So as of right now, we have 13 days to buy the next batch of starfruit and make a couple more sprinklers, maybe some iridium sprinklers to start getting that set up. Well, we can't make the sprinklers yet, but we can get the materials, I guess. We'll want to start making some lightning rods pretty soon here, just so the first time it rains or thunderstorms in summer, we can capture all the lightning. But yeah, I think it's like smooth sailing right now. Summer, I think that tone is going to change a little bit, but again, I'm not really like super worried about it. And I think I even have enough sprinklers, or I'm pretty close to having all my sprinklers. I may have a couple more I have to make tomorrow. But yeah, I have 103 of the fire quartz, or the refined quartz. And I think I only need 114 sprinklers. I don't remember the numbers, but all I know is I'm close enough that I can make it happen, almost guaranteed. And animals, kind of the same deal with animals. Just waiting on like a large brown egg and I think a large goat milk still. But it's just a matter of tending to them every day and I don't know. Just kicking it. Just kind of cruising right now. It is kind of nice to like not feel like we're catching up, even though like we're maybe a little bit behind in money. It doesn't feel like we're trying to catch up too badly, you know, like, I don't know, it just doesn't feel as bad as it could, that's for sure. So I'm happy with the run so far. I think we'll even get hardwood today, which is like insane because we never do that. And then the ectoplasm thing, that will help. That's some free money and another crafting recipe, even though we don't need that. But it's just like, it feels good to check stuff off a list sometimes, even if it's little like insignificant stuff like this. I know like every time we do one of these videos, I always say the only thing I'm worried about is recipes and Leo, but like recipes have been a bigger worry of mine, just because like crafting is something I don't do all that often. Like I don't I don't keep track very well of where you buy all the recipes. And there's Leah, conveniently enough. And she is, yeah, so her and Haley are pretty much tied now after the flower dance. And I got a bad habit of skipping forageables. I should really be picking that stuff up because I need that foraging level. That's going to be one of the things that holds me back the most because it just takes so long to get foraging all the way up. Same with fishing. With fishing, it's a little bit easier because you can just sit there and do a lot of fishing. And I'll have to do that for legendary fish, fall fish, summer fish, and the winter submarine fish. So really, like, I'm not worried about fishing because it's bound to happen naturally on its own. But foraging, you kind of have to go out of your way to like chop stumps or plant the foraging seeds or whatever little stuff. And it's easy to let that kind of slip by, you know? So in the summertime, I will be planting probably like a smaller little garden to the left of all the furnaces there. That's where I'll have some forage seeds. And I already have some of the wild seeds over here on the right side of the farm. Man, I didn't do the animals like very optimally today. I've gone back and forth inside of their dwellings like 5 times. And also my iridium sprinklers, there's only like 3 spaces between them. And so I'm like missing out on 5 crops. It's just kind of a weird mistake. Oh well. And then we'll ship the tea leaves now. That way we don't forget about it later on. Just because we won't have a keg for so long. Like we won't have a keg until our first starfruit harvest. Because I believe it takes farming level 9 in order to craft it. And if I want more tea leaves without making tea bushes, I can just go in the back room of, like Caroline's garden room, right? And I can just pick them up there. So it's a pretty minimal deal right now. So there's all our sprinklers. We're a little bit short, like I said, but we are going to start building our like big path. I wish I had bought the stone floor or the walkway, because I don't really like how the cobblestone path looks. But we'll start kind of mapping out where our stuff is going to be. I usually like to use the corner of the house as like a starting point for where I draw my big old box. But it just kind of depends on how stuff lays out for you. Oh, and something I did earlier too, you might not have been able to see it very well because I had the like stuff to do today box over it. But before I upgraded the pickaxe, I cleared out every rock on the farm. And that way I wouldn't have to worry about having like an unclearable rock while I was placing down all these little tiles. And again, this is optional. You don't have to like use this pattern, and you don't have to use tile or walkways at all for your sprinklers. It's just something I like doing. It makes it easier to like remember where stuff's going to be, and easier to hoe and all that stuff. So for now, we're just going to like trace out the pattern, maybe set down a few sprinklers, probably not. And we definitely don't have time to till it all. Like tilling everything is going to take all day. And again, that's the reason why I am tilling it all now and planting the parsnips. I'm not using the deluxe speed grow because that'd be a waste. But I'm going to plant these parsnips and just let them rot. And I'm not going to pick them. They're just going to be a plant that I can scythe away on the first day of summer. And it will keep the soil moist. Sorry for that word. I know people don't like it. And it will keep the soil tilled. And so like all I have to do is go back and plant a round of DSG and a round of starfruit. I don't have to water, I don't have to hoe, or any of that stuff. And that is kind of the main reason, because it's just like it's a really small time save, but because time is so essential and limited in the summertime, it's better to waste a spring day on it than it is to waste a summer day. At least that's kind of how I look at it, I guess. And yeah, and so also like the reason there's like a path in between the blocks of 5 is because the blocks of 5 is the width of a scarecrow radius, and then we skip 2 and do the same thing again. But once we convert all these to iridium, it will line up perfectly inside this box. I don't know how to explain it. It'll like line up perfectly inside this box without having to like respace out stuff too much. I don't know how to explain it, but it just ends up working out pretty well. You lose a little bit of space, but I don't know, like I only need this specific amount of crops right now, so I don't really care about the space as of now. Because I know like right now we have to have 906, but I think our next starfruit crop has to be almost double the size. I think it has to be 1600 starfruit, which is going to be like a really tight fit and also a really tight time fit, so I hope I can make that happen. When I originally planned out the money needs for this run, I did it based on like the total cost of all of the obelisks and the golden clock and a couple other things, which was like 15.1 million. And then I divided that by the price of starfruit wine, which is 31.50. And so it's a little bit over, it's like 4,700, or let's just say 4,800 starfruit, right? So 48 starfruit divided by 3, we know it's 1,600 each time you plant it, right? So the first one is only 906. So what, 4,800 minus 906 is 3,894 divided by 2. So we need 1,900 starfruit each for the second 2 harvests. But we also have a lot of pumpkins that we're going to sell. So we don't need to do like quite that much. And basically the math works out to that this amount of starfruit will be perfect for if we don't do very well with pumpkins, I guess. And if we don't really mess with Ginger Island too much. But those are kind of like 2 big safeties we have in case we have issues with starfruit. I didn't explain that very well. It kind of like got away from me halfway into it. Basically, I just calculated how many starfruit I needed based off the price of the obelisks and golden clock. That's all there really is to it. And so technically, with all of these starfruit, if I process it all into wine and sell it, I should be able to afford all the obelisks and the clock. And then everything else I can pay for with iridium and with pumpkins or whatever. So, I don't know, whatever. You can ask, I can explain better probably in text or type if somebody comments and doesn't understand. I'm a little bit tired today. It's been like kind of a longer day. Like a really loud day. And I feel like that kind of takes it out of me mentally sometimes. And so yeah, we're into the next day. I didn't really prepare like things to get done on the 26th or whatever, because there's really not a lot to get done. We have a couple of gifts we want to give out, but we're also just going to finish hoeing the field, placing the sprinklers, maybe, and planting all the stuff. It doesn't really matter if we don't place all the sprinklers today. Like, it would be ideal, but I don't care if they get watered or not until the 28th. And then that's the only day that I need to have sprinklers down. So if we need to push sprinklers into the next day, we can. Our main thing is just getting everything hoed up and in the ground. Oh, and maybe it was somebody's birthday. Maybe it was Pierre's birthday. I don't even notice. Oh, there's our second tea leaf. So we can actually use that to process into a cup of tea and ship that, and we are in business. So one more thing kind of checked off the list. Was it somebody's birthday today? I wish I had like a physical book of Stardew stuff. I know that exists, but sometimes it's nice to have like a physical resource to thumb through real quick instead of looking up online. I don't know why. I mean, it's less efficient, but it feels better. So I always just look it up in like the laziest way. Oh, it's Pierre's birthday, and I gave him a gift. And then Emily's birthday is tomorrow. So as long as we get her a gift, I think she'll actually be done. Because she's pretty close to being finished right now. So, anyway, I'm going to skip all this. It's not very fun to watch. It's just me doing this. And so, yeah, almost 12 hours later, or like over 12 hours later, we didn't get any sprinklers down, but we managed to get all the scarecrows down, as well as everything planted. And if we pass out, it doesn't matter. So if tomorrow is, tomorrow no matter what, we're going to place our sprinklers. Probably go to the Skull Caverns if things are good. We don't have too much else to worry about aside from Emily's birthday, so that's kind of what we'll get into tomorrow. Sold a couple more little things, cherries and apricots, like pretty much every day. I think I have enough already saved for the recipes. If not, they grow just fine in the greenhouse. So, but yeah, next episode is the last episode of spring, so I'll see you then.